astronauts, this is Brandi and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. Hi, if you are new here, as I said, my name is Brandi. I am an astrology researcher and a practical tarot reader, meaning I like to use grounded, everyday, real-world insights to give you predictions to empower yourself so you can live your life. Now, today's reading is all about your future spouse. We're going to see who will catch feelings first. So I guess it's about you and your future spouse. We're going to see how those feelings are expressed, generally how they are going to maybe treat you, just seeing the whole progression of things. So as always, we have 5 pals to choose from. Before we get started, I do want to remind you to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I've been looking at my analytics, guys, and a lot of you astronauts are not subscribed. You're over here casually viewing, popping up every now and then. Well, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell because I know you're going to want to stop by the pop-ups. That's right, I go live weekly, and then sometimes I pop up, and during the weekly lives, I like to do a weekly collective. It is interactive. It is simply very similar. I started introducing you guys being able to pick your own cards. So the weekly collective is a collaborative experience because that is what I like to do on this channel. Also, I have astrological insights. You'll see I like to talk about transits. I like to refer to myself as a transit queen. I love astrological transits. They're my favorite. That and etc. So now that I've given that whole spiel, if you want a private reading with me, a link can be found below. You can go through my Etsy shop or you can go through the Google form. It's all up to you what you prefer to use. I like to give you guys some options. Now, let's jump into these pals. We have pal number 1, pal number 2, pal number 3, pal number 4, and pal number 5. So let's not waste any more time and just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey, pal number 1, let's get into who will catch feelings first, you or your future spouse. So this is you, 8 of Swords, upright. This is them, King of Wands, reversed. Then we have the Page of Cups. These are just general clarifying cards. The 3 of Cups, the 6 of Pentacles reversed, and the World card reversed. So let's get into this. Make sure all the cards are in the frame correctly. So when it comes to who will catch feelings first, this is actually really interesting in terms of who will catch feelings first, because to some degree the King of Wands is someone who can catch feelings first really, really fast. And so I have this feeling that it may be them, just because the King of Wands reverse is almost like too much too soon. Okay, so I have this feeling just based on the cards with the energies and the wands being so proactive and them being so like, we got to go now. And I know the King of Wands reversed, he is someone who is in, Speedy Gonzalez mode, right? He's essentially someone who can be very, very excitable, right? That's pretty much what the King of Wands is. He's very intense when he is in the reverse feeling. So I believe it will be them in terms of who's catching feelings first. Very passionate person, okay? Very much so. Very eager. Maybe, rushing into the process, or, they're the type of person who might be a bit of a romantic. From an astrological perspective, the wands connect to the fire signs, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, Leo rules the 5th house of romance, right? And so when you have this King of Wands energy, it's like this amplification of maybe Leo energy, which can be very passionate, very extravagant, someone who is more than likely just a very romantic person, ultimately, when you have the King of Wands reversed. So I do want to say that, okay? Just an extremely passionate person that you have here. When we have the Eight of Swords for you, I don't think it's like too much longer until you catch feelings as well. But that Eight of Swords is definitely a card showing me that you're probably a little bit shy. You're not going to admit it. You're not going to be the person who says, I love you first, or what are we? You know, you're more than likely waiting for them to make that move. And I feel as though that's going to pretty much dictate the pace of the relationship, okay? I feel that if you were to like express your feelings more openly, then this relationship would evolve a lot quicker. But just looking at the cards here, the fact that we have the Ace of Swords, and we know the Ace of Swords is, they've put themselves in this sort of like trap, right? Sorry about number one, but they put themselves in this sort of like trap, and they're like, oh, I can't move, I'm stuck here, whatever. And so this is you putting the brakes on the relationship and saying, no, I don't want to go too fast. I've heard the stories about people who move too fast and things don't work out, and I'm just not sure if that's the best thing to do. Maybe you're like, you know, my friends have said X, Y, and Z has happened, or I've heard some stories from X, Y, and Z person, or I've read studies that show this and that. And so I'm going to take it slow. Even if I feel very strongly towards this person, which is very clear that you do, I'm still not going to say everything that's on my mind or in my heart, because maybe there's a fear of being rejected, or maybe it's like I said, it's just the fear of like too much too soon. So there's that. Now, if we go into how these feelings are being expressed here, very innocently, you know, the Page of Cups, when your future spouse confesses, is going to be generally very standard. Just looking at the cards, I don't believe it's going to, even though they're a romantic person and they have very strong feelings for you, I don't believe that it's going to be like an over the top, you know, bed full of roses, you know, roses leading up to the bed with the decorative design. I don't think it's going to be like that. But obviously with the Page of Cups there, it is going to be an appropriate setting. It is going to be romantic. The Three of Cups is there. So, you know, three's a crowd, etc. So it's more than likely going to be somewhere that's more public than private, is what I'm indicating in terms of like how these feelings are expressed. The Page of Cups is very complimentary, and so I feel as though that might be part of the process to leading up to, like, you know, hey, you know, let's form this relationship, or hey, I have these feelings for you, I want to make this confession. Generally, the Page of Cups is a very pleasant card. They're pleasant in their delivery. They're not very awkward. They're talking about all the things they like about you. They are putting themselves out there. They're allowing themselves to be very vulnerable, and the energy is very playful too, especially since we have this, you know, Page of Cups, Three of Cups energy. These cards connect a lot to easygoing collaboration. So what that tells me is that they know how to read the room, right? They're not going to make this confession on a day that you are, you know, depressed and dragging your feet or anything like that. It's going, you guys are already going to be having a good time when they, you know, express those I love yous, or, you know, whatever they're trying to confess, whether it's something like a proposal, whether it's something having to do with, let's form a relationship, let's officially say, hey, we're together. Like, whatever the setting is, whatever the moment is, it's going to be an appropriate moment to make that sort of confession here. And like I said, I really do feel like they're leading from the heart. It's not this sort of like I'm dropping hints here and there. What I mean by leading from the heart, I think it's just like, hey, this is on my mind lately. So I want to say this. The Page of Cups isn't known for being someone who holds in their feelings. They're not known for being someone who is there to hide. They can be a little indirect, but, given that it's next to the Three of Cups and this King of Wands card, the King of Wands card, they're not known for subtleties. Sometimes they hold things in, but like for the most part, I don't see the King of Wands as somebody who is this master in dropping hints. That's not the King of Wands. They're more into the direct type of communication. And so for me, I feel as though it'll be very obvious. They're making googly eyes. Okay. It's very obvious. Their feelings. Like I said, they're not the one to hide it. I just want to make that clear. So you're going to be complimented a lot. You are very beautiful. You look great in that color. You have such great ideas. That's really smart. Never really thought of it that way. They are hyping you up before they say these things. And, I really feel as though when it comes to the stage of the connection in which this is happening, as I said before, because this person is going to catch feelings early, it's going to be relatively pretty early on in the initial stages of your relationship that these feelings will be out there. Obviously, the Three of Cups shows me that it's mutual. Like I said, you're this Eight of Swords card. You have the feelings too, but it's just like you're like, well, let's wait, right? And the Three of Cups shows that, when that confession happens, you're going to feel like, all right, that's cool. I really, I feel the same. But there's something interesting about the Six of Pentacles reverse, because generally when we get the Six of Pentacles reverse, it's not necessarily like you're rejecting their confession, but we know the Six of Pentacles can be a bit like, hey, let's, thank you very much for the offer. That sounds very professional. I don't think you're going to say thank you very much for that offer, but I think you're going to say something along the lines of like, hey, I feel very similarly, but I think it's better for us to continue on in the dating stage before we transition into that next space in our relationship. And the reason I say that is because the World card is reversed. And like I said, with the Six of Pentacles, even though this is on the After Tarot deck, if you look at it, they are giving even more to someone else in this case. But the thing is, they are offering more to someone else. And so in this way, it's like your future spouse is offering their feelings. And if we look at this reverse, it's almost like you're saying, hey, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at phrasing this. But you're just like, hey, let's put a pause on this. Like let's slow down a little bit. Like, I'm not saying that I don't feel similar, and I'm not saying that I don't care for you, and I'm not saying that I don't love hearing these things and that I don't want to form a relationship with you. But what I'm saying is I would like to stay within the, dating space for now. just because, like I said, this comes in so early on. But I really do feel like if we're going into just what they like about you, what's motivating them to want to form this bond and this connection, is I generally get the World card to represent like this feeling of like, I don't want this to end, you know? And so that's a strong motivator for them when it comes to wanting to confess their feelings, you know? and ensuring that you guys are locked in. They're like, you know, I don't want this to end. I feel a strong, you know, I have so much fun with you. I enjoy your company. I have this big crush on you. You know, things like that. It's pretty simple for this person. They feel what they feel and they express it, you know, and they don't want to hold back. And I think when it comes to this relationship, it's obviously going to be an exciting time. Is just what I get from you guys. Like, you guys have a lot of enjoyment. You have a lot of fun together. You just have a great time. And there's really no limitations on, there's like no limitations on like, oh, we need to spend this much time together, or it needs to be a little bit more balanced. The Six of Pentacles reverse is obviously telling me that, hey, the scales aren't balanced, right? Like, we might be a clingy couple, you know, we might be a clingy group. You're spending more time together than not. And I don't know, for me, I feel like it works for you guys. Just looking at the cards, I feel like this is just a dynamic that works for you guys. Whether that means you're calling a lot, you're texting a lot, you're spending more time together. I think you guys are more so like let's meet in person rather than like calling. And there's this feeling of like, when it comes to my feelings, when it comes to my generosity, and this is from like the perspective of your spouse, there's no strings attached to it. You know, with the Six of Pentacles reversed, like I said, this is the Astro-Tarot deck, so they're giving even more. And when it's reversed, it's like kind of saying, you know, I'm just doing this because I like doing this for you. I like doing things for you, giving things to you. It's just, that's something that they like. Like I said, it's not something that's performative to them. So whether it's a gift, whether it's their feelings, whether it's their time, whether it's their energy, they're just saying, hey, I just want to give it. But that's what I have for you, pile number one. That last part kind of went a little bit more into the actual relationship dynamics, but generally we know it. Your spouse is catching feelings first. You're not too far away after. Like I said, with the Six of Pentacles reverse, it's a little bit like, let's continue the dating phase a little bit. And then, you know, let's go to the next stage. Like, you know, but to me, like, you guys seem happy and healthy, and I'm just going to end it there. If you like this type of reading, feel free to comment below, don't forget to subscribe, and also remember, if you want a private reading from me, link can be found in the description bar. If you are interested in the monthly predictions, etc., there is a membership available for that. And also, I go live on the weekends, as I always say. And you can find the time posted on the community tab by Tuesday night. And we have a great time during the lives. At least I try to make it fun. I do the weekly collective to get a forecast on what you can expect for your week ahead. And, you know, you can prep yourself, be ready to handle what life is throwing at you that week. And then also I do some astrological videos, just in case you guys are very interested in knowing what's happening in the sky and how it's affecting you personally. That's all I have to say for now. And I'll see you guys next time. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 2, let's get into will you or your spouse catch feelings first. So we have the 10 of Cups for you, the, Knight of Swords, why can't I say speak right now? King of Swords for your spouse. We have Justice. We have the King of Wands reversed. We have the 10 of Swords, and we have the 6 of Cups. And these are on the Astro-Tarot deck, these two. And this is my Mean Girls Tarot and my Panoramic Tarot, just in case you were interested in knowing what the cards were. Sometimes people want to know. So, to me, it feels like you are going to be the one who is going to be catching feelings first. Okay? And the reason I say that, it's not as though they won't catch feelings, I want to say quickly. It's just more so like they're going to move at a steady pace. And I say that because, oh, guys, I almost knocked my light over. Maybe steady pace isn't the right word, but they're going to move a little bit slower. I say that because the King of Swords is so, like, when he's reversed, he's very, very, very analytical. He's second guessing everything. And to some degree, he may not know his feelings as well. Upright, he can be a little bit more objective and he can sort of think it through and figure out his emotional world, right? He's clear-headed. But when he's reversed, he's kind of like in this state of confusion. And he may not be fully in touch with what exactly he's feeling. The King of Swords reversed is almost maybe too logical, too detached. And that's not to say that they aren't attached to you. It's more so they may not be very in tune with their own emotions as much as you are. Because this 10 of Cups here shows me you're thinking about the future. Oh, there's a motorcycle. They're thinking about your life. You're thinking about your life together with this person. You're thinking about maybe starting a family or building a home or introducing them to your parents and your loved ones and celebrating and maybe even the wedding day. Like, you are very much envisioning this beautiful life together. They themselves, they're dating. They want to get to know you. And in a way, it's like, it's almost like they don't want to admit it. It reminds me of like Megan Hercules when she's like, I won't say I'm in love, right? Because she's been through so many different guys before and has had her heart broken. And it's giving very much King of Swords reverse. Like, oh no, not this feeling again. I don't want to admit it. You know, that's kind of like what I'm seeing here. I feel like your spouse is going to approach this from a very like rational perspective. And it's not like they don't care. It's just that they're not going to immediately express their emotions the way that you do. And they're more so focused on the process of getting to know you. Like I said, they're weighing things carefully. They're studying. It's very much justice here. This Justice card becomes about trying to seek balance. Trying to ensure that this is the best match. And it's kind of interesting because a lot of people see love through this like all-consuming emotional lens. But if we look at the astrology and from the astrological perspective, you know, Venus is ruled by the earth signs, which is very practical. And then it's ruled by the air sign, right? Libra, which is very much logic, seeking fairness, communication. It's nothing, no emotional, no Scorpio, no Cancer, you know, no Pisces. Is not this wave of wateriness. It's being practical and it's thinking with your head. And your spouse is going to embody those characteristics as you guys go through your dating phase, as you go through entering a relationship. They're always evaluating, does this connection truly align with what we're both looking for? And I think it is possible that because we have this King of Swords reverse, that they could be hesitating to speak out loud what it is that they are seeing for the future. And it's not like they're seeing anything bad. You know, sometimes people they're scared they're going to be rejected or their thoughts aren't going to be taken well. And I feel like that's the position that they're in. They're a little bit scared to share their vision of the future because they're like, oh, what if it's too soon? Or what if this is not the future they want, you know? And what if we're not compatible? Like I said, it's just very much like they're overthinking it, okay? Being over analytical. At least that's what I'm picking up very, very strongly from them. Now, if we go into how they're going to or express their feelings, well, first of all, because we have this Justice card there, to me, it reads as though even though you're the one who's more than likely going to catch feelings first, when it comes to the I love yous, I feel as though that's something that is going to be said at the right time. And when we have this Justice card there, and this card is talking about things being at a balance, having a conversation, laying it all on the table, right? Presenting all the facts and evidence of your relationship and said, you know what, we've gone out this many times, this months, and I like this about you. And, I feel this way and right? Like it's a moment kind of like that. I feel as though you're both going to admit that feeling around the same time, admit the deep care and the bond that you have together. It's not like you admit it first just because you feel it first. It's like, no, you both will admit it around the same time, even if you're the one who catches feelings first. And I think because we have this King of Wands here reverse, whenever I see the King of Wands and he's expressing his feelings and he's going about like he's in a relationship, the King of Wands reverse can be a little bit like, you haven't called me back in 2 hours, or they can be very much like, you know, let's spend some time together this weekend. What are you doing? It's just like wanting to see you more sort of thing. So these are the signs to look for when this person's feelings are a little bit stronger. The King of Wands reverse is very impatient. He wants to go now. He wants to do things now. He wants to see you now. It's very much like now, right? Yesterday was too late. That's kind of like the energy of the King of Wands. So you'll see examples of his behavior beginning to be a bit more, I guess I'm trying to use the right word. I don't want to say pushy, but more adamant. There we go. That's the word I want to use. Like, they're more adamant to see you, to spend time with you, to be around you. They're more frequently checking in, messaging you. They're, instead of saying, hey, when are you free? It's just like, I want to see you, right? Like very direct. Sometimes overly direct with the King of Wands, right? Last minute invitations. Like, this is how this person is going to be, you know, acting. Like when the feelings start to, when they really start to accept their feelings, I should say. Because to me, with the King of Swords reverse, it's not like they don't have feelings. It's more so they're like wrestling with those doubts. But when they start to accept those feelings, that's when it's like, okay, yeah, I want to see you now. Like, let's go. If we're looking at what stage in the connection this happens in, you know, the cards here are just kind of saying it's coming at the right time. I don't find Libra to be like a very slow moving card. And I say Libra in terms of justice because it connects to that. Justice either. Well, justice itself can be slow, but it's surrounded by the King of Swords and the King of Wands. So it's leaning more to like, this isn't going to be, 2 years of you dating and then they're like, I love you. Like, no, that's ridiculous. It's a little bit more sooner than later that the feelings come along. I would give it, a couple of months here. At least that's what I see. I don't think it's going to be this long drawn out period. There's generally no pentacles. Pentacles are the slowest moving guys. And you don't have any of them, like, at all. You don't. So that's kind of like the thing to show that this is something that's really, really moving along, okay? I feel like you're going to notice, they're so funny. To me, it's like, one thing you'll notice when they start catching these feelings is they will increase in their anxiety. And I guess that's where this feeling of like, you haven't called me back, like this behavior is coming from. Because this Ten of Swords there is, feeling, I mean, look at the card. This person's being buried. They're like, oh no. It's like, for them, they're like, I'm in love, again. And this is destroying my life. Maybe they're one of those people who get very carried away when it comes to love, or there's a possibility that this person very strong possibility that this person's just scared to lose you. And so to them, this feeling of being in love and building a connection and building a bond and forming a relationship and, wanting to be with you long term is a scary thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at these cards and they're scared, and they're looking at the past, and from their experience in the past, they're like, oh no, those situations didn't work out when I was in love. And even though this situation is different, they still have those anxieties about them. And I think you're going to really see that on them, especially when it comes to, their behavior. It weighs on them. I don't know why. I do know why. They're scared. That's definitely the reason the cards are just showing that. And so you may have to have this justice-like conversation, putting everything out on the table. There may need to be some reassurance there. The Six of Cups, I've noticed, it's almost like you have to be this a little bit more emotional support. You know how the Six of Pentacles is like, hey, I'm offering you something, whether that's money, advice, time. The Six of Cups is kind of similar in a way where you offer somebody, this emotional boost. You try to make them feel good. You let them know that you support them. You're very kind. You have small acts of generosity and care. And they may need that. And it's great because with this Ten of Cups, to me, it feels as though you're more than willing to provide it. And it's not like this is a one-way street. The Six of Cups is all about balance. And I think with this Justice card here, you get what you give, right? And I feel as though they're going to mirror that behavior. If they see that you are providing that emotional support and you're providing that care, they're going to want to give it back. And they're like, okay, let me stop. Let me get out of my head for a second and actually show more care and affection to the person that I want to spend my life with. That's kind of like the vibe here. But this is what I get from this reading pile number 2. Very, very, very nervous person. Very nervous person that you have here. I just think they have a lot of like anxieties, and I feel as though it's good that you guys are going to be strong when it comes to the communication, because that's really going to help this relationship and move it forward and make this person feel a little bit, less anxious, less nervous, like they're stumbling over their words here, checking their appearance, like looking to see if they got food in their teeth. Like they're very much nervous around you. So you'll see that increasing behavior the more you're with each other. So that is what I have, and I hope to see you next time, pile number 2. If you want a private reading from me, link is in the description bar below. You can go through Etsy or you can go through the forms. Either one is perfectly fine by me. Don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe. I would love to see you here again. And also, I go live on the weekend. I talk about astrology. This is Astro-Tarot research. And you know I'm talking about the astrology, prefer Vedic astrology. And so that's what I'm going to talk about. And also, when we go live, we do the weekly collective, the weekly look ahead to see what's happening next, like what's unfolding, like what are we dealing with, what's popping up, good, bad, ugly, whatever. We want to know what's happening. And so stop by if you want that. And that is all I have to say to you, pal number 2, and I'm wishing the best. Au revoir. Hey, pal number 3, let's see who will catch feelings first. This is you, 6 of Cups reverse, and the 9 of Cups upright for them. Then we have the Page of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and the Magician. They're actually missing a card, I believe. All right, since we're missing a card, I'm pulling out the deck, guys. I'm just going to shuffle one for you guys really quick. See if we can get you guys set up here. Oh, 5 of Wands. All right. You guys are extra special, pal number 3. I had to shuffle some cards for you. So, obviously, when we're looking at these cards here, your spouse is going to be the one to catch the feelings first. For sure, with that 9 of Cups there. To me, they're looking at you like, okay, this person is wonderful. Their dream come true. They're amazing. This 9 of Cups person is completely satisfied with how things are. They have everything they want and possibly need within the relationship. And, you know, they feel that, I don't know if it's like right away, but pretty soon is how they feel it. We do have this 6 of Cups for you reversed. And that's interesting because you are looking towards the future and you are looking to, you know, build something sustainable and something that makes you feel great. But I don't know, I just feel like when I'm looking at this 6 of Cups reverse, to me, it's almost as if you don't feel that same nurturing that your spouse is feeling maybe immediately within the relationship. And there could be many reasons for that, but generally the 6 of Cups reverse is someone who, I don't know, they just need they need a little bit of extra oomph, okay? If that's the best way I can describe it in terms of that emotional connection. And to me, it feels like that's probably the reason why you don't grow in the feelings as strongly first. Not saying you'll never get there at all right? I just want you to know that. It's upright. It's about nostalgia, right? It's about going down memory lane. It's about feeling nourished and loved. Maybe what it is like you don't feel that same sense of like home and belonging immediately as they do. You know, you're not in the same space of complete warmth and ease that they feel. And there, like I said, it could be really lots of reasons for it, right? Tons. It may not have anything to do with them. It could have to do with your past and your history, and could just have to do with the fact that maybe the way that they express their love, their connection is just not the way that you would prefer to receive it. And that's something that can be worked on, which is great, right? But it does show, like I said, that you are looking to build something that lasts. You are someone who is mindful about the future. You're taking the relationship very seriously. And I think your spouse can definitely 100% see that. And that is part of the reason why they feel such a strong sense of comfort for you. And that they feel as though, you know, I found that I've always wanted. They feel like you're someone who's not messing around. You're not playing games. You're pretty much focused on a path of building a future together. And they really, really like that. But like I said, you're going to need a little bit more reassurance. You're going to need a little bit more depth. before you can truly settle within the relationship and have those strong feelings. Now, when we go into this Page of Wands reverse territory, Page of Wands reverse is definitely a card that sometimes can be hesitant to come out of their shell, okay? And you know what? If I'm looking at the cards, maybe that is part of the reason why you're a little bit more hesitant to be, to fall in love, to allow yourself to let someone in, because of either one or two reasons. Like, one, as I said, you're just a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved. You're like, I don't know, I just need some time. Like, I need a little bit more, not coaching, but like, more of a push to start to dive deeper into the relationship. I just need something, a little bit more excitement. I need a little bit more momentum. I just need a little bit more. And then on the other hand, it could be that maybe generally you want someone who is going to be a little bit more adventurous. It's quite possible that you feel within the relationship that though there's excitement, there's fun, it may not be enough for you, because the Page of Wands reverse can represent someone who's a little bit bored. And if we look at the cards here, it kind of makes sense, right? With the Six of Cups reverse, I can often get this card to represent that I'm not a homebody. I'm not someone who likes to stay in all day. I'm not someone who wants to just stick to my hometown. I want to travel, I want to go places, because when we look at the Six of Cups, they are in their little home environment. On this panoramic deck, you can see more of the town. This is why I love these cards. All these twists on the Rider-Waite tarot deck. But you see more of the town there, and they're just chilling in the space that they know that they're familiar with, in their hometown, etc., whatever. And you might be like, hey, I don't want to just live this suburban white picket fence life. I want to be more explorative. And when we have this Page of Wands reverse, you might be saying to yourself, like, there's just something more, and I'm searching for something out there that's going to bring me a sense of fulfillment and adventure, and I just don't have all of that within the relationship right now. And like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with you not being attracted to this person, with this person. Doesn't have anything to do with this person not being the right fit for you. It's just like, they may be at a different place, or you may be in a different stage in your life, okay? And I think that's part of the reason. You're like, I'm in the adventure stage, and it seems like my future spouse in this case is in the more so let's settle down and, build the life together stage. Now, when it comes to how these feelings are expressed, a bit chaotic, to be honest. Five of Wands is interesting because to me, I see the Five of Wands like showing that they are either like competing to try to impress you. Like, this is interesting. The Five of Wands is a card that's generally like the battle of the egos, or even like, I get it to represent like a lot of haters or naysayers. So in the context within a relationship of how they're sort of expressing their feelings, they could just be teasing you a lot. Like, you may notice that they poke fun at you a little bit more, or they joke around. I don't think they have bad intentions. These cards don't come across as like someone very negative or anything like that. I think they'll just find that they tease you more, and that's their way of expressing their feelings. Not only that, but there's also the possibility that, like I said, they become more competitive with those around you, or even just within their life. Maybe there's someone who's a little bit more laid back. And when you have this Five of Wands, it's just like, I want to go out there and bring home the bacon, right? Essentially, I want to prove that I'm a winner. I want to show you that I am someone who's got it like that. So it can be like I'm putting the pedal to the metal in terms of showing how I am very accomplished, or how I am essentially someone who is worth being in a relationship with. I don't know. I might not be phrasing that correctly. I'm not the best with stringing words together. But generally, it's that feeling of like, you know, I just got a promotion. Like I was out there, you know, hustling, da da da. I just, you know, if they're a salesperson, granted, that's not the most popular job, but if they're a salesperson, look, I just made this much and this in sales. Like they're bragging on their accomplishment. They are showing you this is the best that I've got. Like they're saying, look what I can do, you know? It's kind of like that in that vein in terms of like the Five of Wands and how they show their feelings. You know, the reactions can be a little bit over eager or a little awkward. Like I said, the Five of Wands can be clumsy sometimes when you have this energy, sort of like a rambling vibe too. You know, in Vedic astrology, you have nakshatras, and the Venusian ruled nakshatras, Puva Falguni, Puva Ashada, and Bharani, they take place within the fire sign elements. And one thing I've noticed about these placements is they tend to be a little bit more rambly. Like they when they're having a conversation with someone that they like, they just kind of go on and on about like literally nothing. And so I really do feel as though that is part of the way that they may be showing that they are interested, if you want to pick up on a more subtle sign without them explicitly saying, you know, I love you, I want to be with you. Like they're just rambling, kind of like I'm doing now. But yes, it is a more talkative, teasing, animated tone, right? So Knight of Cups on the After Tarot deck is interesting. And normally I reverse the cups and the wands, but I'm already doing like the regular reversal way. And the Knight of Cups, you know, we just got this week, which by the time this comes out, it might be like a month later. But I do the weekly collectives. And during the weekly collective this week, we got the Knight of Cups. And that was all about taking a moment to pause, taking a moment to take care of yourself, to rest, to reflect, the same way he's doing on the After Tarot deck card. He's like, I need to nurture myself really quick. I've been in this mode of go, go, go. I need to take a moment to pause. So what that says about your relationship is, I feel as though when it comes to what stage in the relationship this is happening, is a stage when things get a little bit less exciting. So, you know, in the initial stages of dating or even coming together, it can feel as though you guys are really nervous, or this is very fun and this person hasn't seen all my outfits yet, and we're getting to know each other. But when we get this Knight of Cups space, it's like we're a little bit more familiar with each other. It's a little bit less, I don't know if less exciting is the right word, but it's a little bit less, it's more familiar. And so in a way that could be less exciting, but ultimately it's just showing that you're more familiar with each other, and so you're more relaxed around each other. And at this is the stage where this person is going to admit their feelings, and it will be pretty early on. It will be pretty early on within the relationship, but it's not going to be, you know, date number 5, right? I don't think it's that. It might be like a week or two or a month or two after you guys become like officially within a relationship, because the Knight of Cups is not a card that is patient. None of these cards represent patience, guys. None of them. Five of Wands is impatient. Page of Wands reverse is impatient. You know, Knight of Cups. When is the Knight of Cups known for being someone who likes to wait and pause and do all? No. So I feel like it's very early on within the relationship. What is clear though is what they like about you is that you do bring about a level of spontaneity in their life. And I do think that they kind of like that you're on their neck, you know? So like you come across like you are not satisfied with the bare minimum, and you might be a little bit direct to the point where it feels maybe even a little harsh sometimes, but I think that they like that. They will like how direct you tend to be when it comes to your communication. They'll like the fact that it's not exactly like you're trying to say things just to make them feel good. And with this Magician card here, it shows that they can have conversations that just feel endless when it comes to being with you. And that's part of one of the reasons that they like you so much. They feel as though there's endless things to talk about, and you bring a lot of improvement within their life, maybe even a sense of confidence. I love seeing the Magician card. It connects very strongly to Mercury, who, if you've seen Mercury ruled people, they're like the ultimate romantics. They're also complete lunatics, and I mean it in a good way. And I just feel as though there's a lot of intellectual curiosity that need is being met. The sense of playfulness, the sense of feeling like confident, this feeling of being loved, this feeling of like, I don't want to be with anyone else. Like, that's the kind of feeling that they have, even if this person themselves is, I don't know, I just get this feeling that they are they're very animated. Like, looking at the cards, it's almost cartoonish. Like, just seeing the energy here, very over the top. This is the type of person like you'll never run out of stories with, especially with that Magician card here, and you see the infinity symbol over their head. Like, there's always something happening with this person, and they do like that you're here to listen, but they generally just like the fact that, well, number one, you're very laid back. Like I said, this Knight of Cups energy, they're not the most laid back person. They are very articulate. They are someone who doesn't have an issue expressing themselves, and they don't have an issue when it comes to, like I said, going out there in the world and being ambitious and everything like that. But I do feel like before they met you, they were a little bit more, like they took a little bit more time to have more downtime. And like I said, I feel like when they meet you, they're like, let me step it up. But that's all I have. I made this reading way too long. I did not mean to make it this long, pile number 3. Hopefully this resonates. If not, feel free to choose a new pal or a new reader. Either way, I'm happy to stop by. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you to be an astronaut. I go live on the weekends. That is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Excuse me. As I mentioned before during the live, I do the weekly collective. We talk about like what's going to be happening the week ahead and how that relates to you and your life so you can feel empowered moving forward. And then lastly, if you want a private reading from me, link can be found in the description bar below. And I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 4. Let's get started on who will catch feelings first. This is you, Page of Pentacles reverse. This is them, Ace of Wands reverse. We have the 10 of Cups. The 7 of Wands. The 2 of Pentacles. And the 6 of Wands reversed. Okay. Well, to me, I feel as though this is very much similar in terms of timing, in terms of like who's catching feelings first. I only say that because we have both of these reversals. Don't get me wrong. You're a little bit slower to catch feelings, but I feel as though you're not lagging too far behind in terms of catching feelings, just because when they have that Ace of Wands reverse, it's like a bit of a, I don't want to say slow start, but you know, there's more hesitancy. Normally I get the Ace of Wands to represent someone who's hesitant to take action, someone who is, you know, overthinking things, or sometimes it can represent like, just scared something's not going to work out. So you're like, oh, I'm worried. You know, sometimes when people talk about on like social media, they're like, oh, I'm so scared to post this, right? It's like they might record it, but they don't take that action and execute. And so this is why I say I don't feel like you guys are too far behind when it comes to like at least admitting those feelings towards each other. But I do feel as though you're a little bit slower just because you have the Page of Pentacles. Now, I feel just looking at these cards that you both have this beautiful vision for the future. I think that when we're looking at this relationship unfolding, you both go in it with the mindset of longevity, of wanting to be together for a long time. This is my Mean Girls Tarot. I don't think I've ever actually gotten the 10 of Cups. Oh my gosh. It says, I wish I could bake a cake out of rainbows and smiles. I love the Mean Girls Tarot deck. But to be honest, I just feel as though you two are both coming together from a very positive mindset, just wanting to be included, wanting to be together, having a good understanding of where you want to go. And I just got recently the Seven of Wands this week. And normally when I get the Seven of Wands, the card can be a little bit more combative. But lately I've been seeing it more as just like asserting your needs and what you want or desire. So, you know, whatever the case may be. It's not necessarily like, let me battle you for it. It's just like, hey, I know we're talking about getting ice cream, but you know what I really want? I want some cake. You know, that can be very Seven of Wands. And so I'm saying this to say that I feel as though one of you is going to say, hey, I really like this relationship. It's cool. Like the direction is going in seems nice, but like, let's make this official. Like someone's going to take the initiative to do so. And I think it's going to be your spouse just because, you know, this is a wand. This is a wand. Sometimes it's just that simple when it comes to reading cards and connecting them. Okay. Just very much being self-assertive without any sort of aggression. Like I need this to actually be something solid that we can both stand on. I will say though, like it may take a minute to get to a place where things fall into a rhythm, just because we have this Two of Pentacles going on. And even though this is the After Tarot deck where the ships have landed, they still haven't made contact with this Two of Pentacles individual. So this person's still juggling a little bit. Maybe they're going a little slower because they're like, oh, I'm about to encounter an interaction. I may not want to just be juggling things while I'm talking to people. But essentially, I just feel as though you both have a lot of things going on in your life. And so it's not going to get to this point where it's like, all right, let's... we know that we're going to see each other every Saturday. We know each other. We're going to see each other, you know, on Tuesday and Wednesday. And, you know, it's just going to be a little bit more all over the place. And that's the only thing I think that is slowing down the process of the relationship. You both have things to do. It's just that simple, you know, adulting responsibilities. It's not that either one of you are not a priority to the other, but it's just that life happens, you know, life happens. You know, on this card with the Seven of Wands, we have the scene where it's like, how many of you have been personally victimized by Regina George? And so it's just like, I have been personally going through some things in my life and it is affecting my relationships. I'm being personally victimized by my job, by traffic, by paying these bills. And it's just like you two are trying to make time for each other, but it's just a little bit tricky. Okay. And that's just what's going on there. I really do feel like when it comes to how you guys are expressing yourselves or who's coming up with the expressions of the feelings, you're very, very lovey-dovey. This Ten of Cups here is going to show that you're not holding anything back. You're like, you know, I like you. You're complimenting who they are as a person, what they look like, their smile, the way they dress, like what they do. not just for themselves, but for you, for others, whatever. You're just being very like lovey-dovey, complimentary towards this person. It's interesting. They're not as openly lovey-dovey complimentary just because, you know, maybe they feel a little bit embarrassed. Maybe they're not used to that type of affection. So they're going to be more so action-oriented, acts of service. Excuse me. That's how they're going to be showing their sense of appreciation. Not only that, but, you know, I feel as though this is a type of group where you guys are bonding over certain things that you just don't like about the world, you know? Like, you guys are coming together and you're ranting about stuff. Like, the Seven of Wands card is just like, hey, our healthcare system is jacked up. And anyway, I don't know, for some reason, that is like the way they want to bond. They like that. They want to talk about all the things going wrong in the world, and that is something that brings them closer together with you. They feel that way. They're like, let's just hash this out. Like, I think that we both dislike the same things. Don't get me wrong. For them, it's like this playful feeling, this happy feeling, two peas in the pod. There's a sense of friendship here. Like, this is the one pile that I feel as though the level of friendship in terms of bonding is really coming in first with this relationship before it gets more into the romantic stage. You guys have a really strong sense of friendship. I don't know if you start as friends first or if that's just the vibes, you know, but I do feel like as though this pile in particular has a solid foundation when it comes to the friendship and the shared sense of humor and the shared complaints. You got, like I said, you both dislike the same things. And that is there. You both like complaining about those things that are going wrong in the world, rightfully so, right? But I guess that goes basically into shared interests and shared values. You see the world in a very similar way, especially when we have this Page of Pentacles. You'll like it obviously as well, because if you didn't like it, why would you be with this person? But but 100% you're liking the fact that you guys have that same perspective on the world, and it doesn't feel as though you have to be at each other's necks. And if you have a debate, it's like a healthy, playful debate. It's nothing malicious or we're screaming at each other or something like that. You keep things spontaneous. You keep things fun. You introduce this person to things that they've never done before. It may not be particularly new to you, but for them, it's new. And I feel as though there's a part of this person's personality that, I don't know, I guess I want to say, I don't know, some people, they feel that my messaging can be a little harsh, but I'm not trying to be harsh when I say this, but I feel like they need to work on their confidence just a little bit more, because I feel as though you're introducing them to some things they've never tried before, but they don't feel the same sense of like, oh, I'm introducing this person to someone, even though they are bringing a lot of beautiful things into your life as well. This Six of Wands reverse is like someone who may be a winner, but they don't feel like a winner. It doesn't feel like they've got anything to be proud about. And I feel as though that's something personally that they have to work on, and the cards just kind of want you to know that when it comes to how they might be coming across, especially when it comes to expressing their feelings. Maybe part of them might even feel like they don't feel worthy enough for you, because that can 100% be the case here with the Six of Wands reverse. On the After Tarot deck, it's almost as if they want to share the winning. Like, oh, I'm only this great because of you. They may be great on their own, but for them, they feel as like you're the one who's helping me to bring about more enjoyment and fulfillment in my life. And I don't know why that's relevant to this reading, but it's coming out. So I just want you to know that. But I want to say, when it comes to you catching the feelings and you, what's the word? You catching the feelings, you feeling as though you're very comfortable. That's what's bringing about the feelings for you. Like, you are like, oh, I feel very comfortable with this person. I really enjoy our time together. This person makes me very much laugh. Like I said, the friendship bond with this one is very, very strong. And that's really bringing you guys together. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say something along the lines of like, when it comes to you noticing their feeling and it coming out, and maybe a little bit more, they're not as, like I said, they're not as affectionate, lovey-dovey as you might be. And like I said, it's more so, instead of them saying instead of them saying, I know I'm great because I'm with you, or something like that. It might be something along the lines of like, I'm not even sure why you chose to be with me, or you're a little bit out of my league, or like, it's like I said, to me, the feeling is they may have to work on their confidence. And I guess that's why the cards are probably saying that, because this is how you'll notice the feelings, is when they sort of like, in a way, put themselves down and then put you up on this sort of pedestal. And sorry if I didn't phrase that in the most delicate way. I'm trying my best, guys. But that's the reason the cards want you to know that. And that's when you'll really notice their feeling, when they're kind of, like I said, beating themselves up a little bit and then complimenting you a lot. So just be on the lookout for that type of behavior or language, and be sure to call them out on that, because they definitely have a lot of great qualities within them. And this relationship is obviously meant to last, and you guys have a great bond and connection, and I just see a lot of beauty here within this relationship. But that's all I have to say for you, pal. Number 4, hopefully this resonates. If not, feel free to choose a new pal or maybe a new reader. Either way, I'm very, very happy you stopped by. Don't forget, I go live on the weekend. So if you want to get a weekly forecast to see what's happening next week, so you can be prepared, or you can feel empowered, or you can make some decisions, or you can say, oh, yeah, I know exactly what this situation is, and I knew this was going to happen this week. Just stop by. And then also, if you are looking for a private reading, the link is in the description bar below. And also during the lives, I do some astrology. So if you want to know what's going on in the sky and how it's affecting you in your life, and what could be happening next for you, and what's unfolding and all that stuff, and what's going on in the world, we go into that. I do love talking about the history as well. So that is all I have for you, and I hope to see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal. Number 5, last but not least. So who will catch feelings first? This is you, the 8 of Cups. And this is your future spouse, the Justice card reverse. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the 5 of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Wands reverse. And we have the Queen of Wands. So this is the panoramic Mean Girls Tarot deck and the After Tarot deck. Now let's look at what's going on here. So for me, when I'm looking at this is very interesting. I feel as though with the 8 of Cups is saying that you're the one who's ready to move into that next stage initially. And when we're looking at the Justice card reverse for your spouse, I just feel as though that they're in this mindset of essentially maybe like re-reviewing all the facts. They're very much a level-headed person, and they want to be able to have a strong sense of clarity before they can fully commit into a relationship. It's in their mind ensuring that they learn from any past mistakes, and that they can be truly honest with their feelings. And know what they're feeling is true. You know how sometimes, especially when you're younger or just in a state of more of an emotionally immature state, you might say things in a moment that you don't mean. Versus like, you know, if you become more emotionally evolved, get a higher EQ, you recognize that you might be feeling a certain way in the moment. So you're like, let me give myself a little time before I am certain that is exactly how I feel, or if I want to say what I want to say, you know. So this is why I feel, or this is the position I feel that your future spouse will be in. They're just like, I want to ensure that I am moving from a place of honesty and that what I'm feeling is true, and that I am not leaning into any illusions. I'm re-reviewing and rechecking myself and ensuring that I feel strongly and I know that this is my person I want to be with. So that seems to be like an overall trend in terms of for a lot of people, but it's a little, I guess it's a little different. Because this is very much like I'm checking on myself. They might even be getting some feedback from others as well. With the Justice card here, like they might be talking to friends. Well, how did you know when you fell in love with your person? Or they might talk to their family or something, just to sort of get a better understanding of their own feelings. At least that's what I see here. Now you here, with this Eight of Cups, we know that this is definitely a place where you are catching feelings first. And you're ready to move on to something deeper. You don't want to stay in this light stage that you guys are in, or this cute dating phase. That it's fun, it's great, you love it, but you want something that is more fulfilling for you, that ignites your fire, that makes you feel as though this is something you're truly aligned with. And this is essentially maybe what compels you to share your feelings. It's a very hesitant sharing though, because we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles reversed, you know, I noticed that she needs to take the time to pause and recenter herself. She's been taking care of others and she's been doing her best to take care of herself, but at the same time, she's very, very, very cautious because she doesn't want to extend her time, her energy, her efforts into someone who is going to leave her out in the dust, which is why we have this Five of Pentacles there, right? You're like, I don't want to make a bad investment of my time or my energy or my love or anything else I have to offer. So it's just very careful when it comes to the confession. But ultimately, you are the one who is going to say something first, even if you're slow moving with it. And with this Five of Pentacles, it tells me that you're going to feel a little bit exposed. You're feeling a little bit exposed and vulnerable as you open up and talk about like, hey, you know, I am feeling this way towards you. You know, I love you, I want to be with you, or whatever strong desire, feeling, confession that you want to make. You're going to expose yourself like these cards here. But the good thing about these cards is that they're exposing themselves back. This sounds crazy the way I'm phrasing this, but you know what I mean? They're going to open up back, right? The Five of Pentacles is a place of vulnerability, but it's shared vulnerability. You're not alone. So they're going to be open about their feelings as well. And you two are going to stay in that space where you're both having this very honest moment, okay? Where it's like, I have these feelings for you. You know, I want to be with you. There's this strong confession. It's very risky. And with this Knight of Wands reverse, to me, I take this to mean that you're staying within that moment, like I was going into earlier. Like you're not rushing past it. It's not this feeling of like, oh, I love you and I want to be with you, and we just brush past it and don't talk about it. No, it's a reoccurring conversation, and there is a little bit more care, okay? There's this feeling of, let's not rush into things. Like, I want to be with you, you want to be with me, but, you know, are we in the space to really jump into a committed relationship? I just feel like when we have this Knight of Wands reversed, there is a sense of wanting to go out there and see the world, but you're not sure what path to take or where you want to go next. So it's almost like you both share these feelings, and it's just like, okay, well, now what do we do with that? You know, and this is what's leading me to believe that the timing of the confession may, I don't want you guys to get mad at me, maybe a bit awkward, you know. It may be like, you ever seen that scene in Sex and the City where big hands carry like a purse that she doesn't like? And I don't know why she doesn't like it, because it's very much her style, but whatever. And he hands her the purse, she thinks it's tacky, and instead of saying that, she says, I love you. And then they just sit and stand there and look at each other in silence. And it feels a little bit like that in a sense. Like you say it, I love you, they say it back, and then you guys just kind of stare at each other. And it's maybe like using a little bit of like nervous humor to, like, I don't know, laugh it off, cover it up. But then you guys have to revisit the moment, because that Knight of Wands is not, like I said, they're not going to move on from it. So you're going to have to bring it up again, and then actually have like a conversation about what that means for your relationship. And this is what I see. It may be left unfinished in the moment, but you're going to revisit it. I just want that to be clear. Okay, I want that to be clear. And the interesting thing about this card is the Knight of Wands on this card is like over here in Egypt, visiting one of the famous figures. I guess it's not the Sphinx, but it is one of those huge sand, gosh, my brain is just not great at remembering things, but so I'll say sand sculpture since I don't know the word. And when it's in its reverse position, it's like we have all these big plans to go do this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing, but realistically, we both might be a little shy, or neither one of us wants to take the initiative to really go in deep. Okay? This relationship, about like how you two are catching feelings, it's nerve-wracking, right? It's nerve-wracking. That's where the nervous humor is coming from. That's where you two are trying to laugh off the passion, where you two are feeling like, oh, I'm really exposed out here. Okay. This is awkward. And how do we move to this next stage? And neither one of us were expecting this. And now what? Do we meet the friends? Do we meet the family? How does us being in like a couple really look like? What do we expect from each other? What do we expect from the relationship? Like, do we even know enough about each other, right? Because when you're talking about a relationship, it also comes into things like goals and spending habits. And do you want a dog, or do you want a pet, or like, where do you want to live? And, you know, it gets complex. And maybe both of you are like, you know what? Maybe we should have thought something a little bit more through before we like blurted out our feelings. But this Queen of Wands on the end is actually really wonderful, because it shows that you two are going to follow through with the passion. You're going to follow through with going deep in and taking that risk, taking that chance on each other. That's what the Five of Pentacles is all about. It's not just about being out in the cold and being vulnerable. It's about, hey, I took a risk. I came from this place of the Four of Pentacles where I was too scared to even move. And Five of Pentacles, I rolled the dice. And maybe it didn't work out, or maybe it does work out. But Five of Pentacles is all about taking a risk and changing and going out there. I really think that this Queen of Wands energy is you two showing up for each other and finally not being shy or scared to show your true passions. You know, finally being in this space where it feels as though you're in alignment after a little bit of an awkward period. I think that it just takes a little bit of time, like, and feeling a little bit more confidence about the relationship and starting to encouraging each other, starting to feeling like this is actually going to work, having, obviously, keeping that playful energy there, saying, you know what, maybe this works out, maybe it doesn't, we're gonna go for it anyway, we're gonna just enjoy the moment, enjoy our time together. This person makes me laugh, this person makes me happy, I feel great about this person, we have a strong attraction, let's just go with it. There's that feeling to this type of relationship. And when it comes to expressing the feelings, I really feel like there's no swords here. And then we also have the Justice card reversed, which generally I get to be like, not really as talkative, not really as like communicative. And so for me, it's like you're expressing each other through actions, indirect symbols. Whether that's like, okay, we're staying with each other late nights, we're going through these long walks, we're, you know, driving across town. The wands will put in a lot of effort to go someplace to see someone. It's like, this is very ridiculous. the lengths that they will go to see someone. It's the, you know, leaning in for the closeness, hand on the shoulder, small touches. Like, it's very action, physical, especially with the Pentacles, oriented with you two and expressing the intimacy and the cues that this is ready to go to the next level. There's just more of that. It's, like I said, it's not leading with the words with you guys. There is a sudden confession, and then it's like, well, we got to do something about it now. And so there's that going on for you, pal, number 5. But one thing I love about this is that you two obviously show up for each other, have each other's backs. That Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands is like, I'm going to defend you even if you're wrong. I am someone who has your back, who is always going to encourage you to go for the things that make you excited, to try different things, to go on new adventures, to be ambitious. They respect your goals, your outlooks. There is a sense of shared interest. Okay, so I feel as though with these cards, you guys like doing similar things together. Like in terms of like if you both are really into movies from the 80s, then boom, you're both watching movies from the 80s. If you're both into, I don't know, collecting marbles, you both like collecting marbles. Like this is what I mean by you have some shared interests in common. And that's what's going to really tighten the bond here. But that's what I have for you, pal, number 5. Hopefully this resonates. If not, feel free to choose a new pal or a new reader. And either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget to follow me. I would love for you to subscribe. I would love it. I would love to see you here again and again and again. I go live on the weekends, so if you want to get like a weekly look ahead to see what's going to be happening next week, what's going to be unfolding, you know, what events are popping up in the weekly collective, or just what's the vibe, you know, for next week, then drop by. Also, if you want to, you know what's happening in the sky astrologically, I do some Vedic chart readings. Just recently this week, well, by the time you guys get it, who knows where I'll be at, but this week as I'm filming it, I've done the recent Jupiter transit at Cancer, which still should be going on by the time this video is posted. I may post some other transit videos by the time this video is posted too. All right, but I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to, you know, overwhelm and go on. And I just feel a strong connection here for you guys. Lots of passion. Probably one of the most passionate pals that we've seen here. Strong attraction towards each other. And I don't know, it just feels fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Au revoir.